It is 8:30 p.m. Your phone lights up face down on the coffee table. You know exactly who it is. And you know it is probably nothing serious. Just a simple question. A harmless little thing. A normal reply. You are just about to exhale. But the second that screen glows, your chest drops. Your jaw locks. Your whole body goes heavy with that immediate, irrational wave of exhaustion. You just stare at it. Not because you do not care, not because the message is cruel, but because something in you has hit its limit before the conversation has even started. And if someone saw you right then, they would read it all wrong. They would call it avoidance, distance, dismissiveness, maybe even a lack of love. But that is not what is happening. You're not going cold. Your system is trying to shut the door before one more small demand pushes it past the edge. That is the part people keep misreading. You do not wake up hating people. You wake up bracing. Before your feet touch the floor, part of your mind is already taking inventory. Who is going to text you today? Who is going to need help? Who is going to ask for your attention? Your patience, your opinion, your emotional steadiness, your ability to keep things smooth. It is rarely one giant emergency. That would almost be easier. It is the low-level hum of being reachable. The email from work. The family member asking something they could have solved themselves. The friend who just needs 10 minutes. The partner calling from the other room for something sitting right in front of them. The unfinished chore radiating pressure from the edge of your mind. None of it sounds dramatic. That is exactly why this kind of exhaustion is so hard to explain. From the outside, you are still functioning, still answering, still solving, still showing up, still useful. And for a lot of people, that is exactly where the trap closes. You are competent, observant, responsive. You notice things before other people do. You step in before the tension grows teeth. You handle what needs handling. So over time, people begin to trust that version of you so completely that they stop seeing the cost of accessing you. They just see that you can carry it. So the day keeps placing little weights in your hands. By afternoon, it is not one heavy thing. It is 50 light things, 50 interruptions, 50 adjustments, 50 tiny pulls on your attention. And your body does not care that each one is technically manageable. Your body keeps score another way. It measures how long you have been open, how long you have been available, how long you have had to remain interruptible. That is why your downtime often does not feel like rest. If you are on the couch but your phone might light up, you are not resting. If the room is quiet but someone might call your name, you are not resting. If dinner is over but you know one more question is coming, you are not resting. You are waiting. Still, quietly, but completely on call. And that waiting costs more than people realize. There is a moment like this that happens to some people almost every day. You pull into the driveway after work. You turn off the engine. Your hands stay on the steering wheel. The house is right there. Nothing terrible is inside. Maybe people you love are inside. Maybe no one is angry. Maybe no one is even upset. But you sit there anyway. 1 minute, 3 minutes, 12. Because the second you open that door, you know you will become available again. Someone will ask how your day was. Someone will need help with dinner. Someone will want you to listen, to decide, to notice, to respond. So you stay in the car, staring through the windshield, trying to gather enough self to re-enter your own life. That is not laziness. That is threshold exhaustion. And when people do not understand that, they start naming the wrong thing. They say you are antisocial. They say you shut down too easily. They say you are moody, dramatic, hard to reach. But what looks like distance is often depletion. What looks like avoidance is often recovery. What looks like coldness is sometimes a nervous system that has run out of gentle ways to say, not one more thing right now. That is why the guilt gets so deep. Because you do love people. You care. You really do. You know how your relief looks from the outside. You know people notice the way you soften after the conversation ends. The way you only seem to breathe once the door closes. The way you come back to life at the exact moment nobody needs anything anymore. And if they love you, that can hurt them. So now you are carrying two loads at once. The exhaustion itself, and the shame of how your exhaustion gets interpreted. So you start questioning your own character. Why does one text feel heavier than it should? Why does one innocent question make your whole body tense? Why does being needed by people you love feel like pressure? Why do you only start feeling human again when everyone finally stops asking? Because you are not reacting to one text. You are reacting to the cumulative weight of 1,000 moments of being reachable, 1,000 small adjustments, 1,000 interruptions, 1,000 times your internal state had to move because something outside you needed something from you. When the sympathetic nervous system gets pulled into low-grade fight-or-flight over and over again by constant minor demands, even a harmless notification can begin to feel like a threat to your last remaining reserves. That is why your reaction can feel bigger than the moment. Your body is not responding to this one request in isolation. It is responding to the stack, the backlog, the hours of invisible tension already living in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach, your breathing. And then there are the places you hide, because your body cannot always tell the difference between privacy and rescue anymore. The locked bathroom, the extra 5 minutes in bed after everyone else is already awake, the kitchen after midnight, when the house finally feels like it belongs to no one, the empty Saturday calendar you protect like a secret. That is another layer people miss. This pattern does not just drain your weekdays. It starts eating your days off too. You tell yourself you will make plans this weekend. You will answer the messages you ignored all week. You will go out. Be more present. Be easier to be around. But when Saturday comes, all you want is blank space. Silence. Nothing scheduled. Nothing expected. Nothing emotionally queued up with your name on it. Not because joy means nothing to you, because your system is trying to repair itself from 5 straight days of being emotionally reachable. So now even rest comes with guilt. You are finally alone. And instead of peace, you get that familiar inner trial. Why am I like this? Why do normal things wear me out this much? Why does warmth feel easy in theory but expensive in practice? Because warmth is not the problem. Endless access is. That is the deeper truth under all of this. You do not hate people. You hate being perpetually available to them. Relief does not arrive when human beings disappear. Relief arrives when demand disappears. You could sit beside someone for hours and feel perfectly calm if you knew, with absolute certainty, that they did not need you to perform anything. Not a reply, not a decision, not emotional labor, not your energy, not your steadiness, not your ability to hold the room together. That is how you know the problem is not connection itself. It is the pressure attached to connection. The feeling that visibility becomes responsibility. The feeling that if you are present, you must provide. The feeling that if you are loved, you must also be useful. And that belief will hollow a person out. Because once love and usefulness fuse together, you stop knowing how to exist around people without giving something away. So your body learns a brutal shortcut. If I cannot stay open safely, I will go flat. If I cannot rest while people are near, I will only come alive when they stop pulling on me. If I cannot be present without being used, I will disappear to recover. That strategy makes sense. It is intelligent, protective, necessary, even for the version of you that got pushed past capacity too many times. But it also comes with a cost, because recovery can harden into avoidance. Boundaries can thicken into walls. Quiet can turn into disappearance. And the armor that once protected your energy can become the very thing that keeps you isolated inside your own life. So this is the distinction that matters. A wall says, nobody gets in. A boundary says, not all the time. Avoidance says, I cannot face this. Recovery says, I need to come back to myself before I can meet this well. Being alone says, nothing is pulling on me right now. Being lonely says, no one would come if I called. Those are not the same. And if your whole body only relaxes once everyone stops wanting something, that does not automatically mean you love badly. It may mean you have lived too long like an open door, too long being interruptible, too long feeling emotionally on call, too long confusing presence with service, too long forgetting that you are allowed to exist in a room without being used. The truth is not that you want nobody. The truth is you need moments when nobody is pulling on you. So the part of you that still loves people does not vanish under the weight of always being needed. That is not cruelty, but it is a signal, a real one. And if you listen to it early enough, Maybe you do not have to wait until midnight to feel like a person again. Maybe the goal is not to disappear from love. Maybe the goal is to stop treating access as the price of it.